Hello everyone, my name is Harsha Chaganty. I work as a senior system support engineer in IT operations. Uh, when I say IT operations, let me actually give you a small picture as to what exactly is IT operations. So whenever there is a product or a service which is developed and moved to production, the IT operation team maintains this service or product in production. They maintain or ensure that this particular product is up and fully accessible to the end users. So basically this is the role of a IT operations. So IT operations can be divided into several areas, uh, starting from Windows image management, application deployment, security updates, endpoint security, and several others. So let me best explain all these areas via a small example. So every organization, the employees, provides its employees with certain means to do their day-to-day job. I think one of the most important thing is the IT infrastructure. So when I say IT infrastructure, the organization actually provides the employee with a laptop, with a network, and all the backend or the servers that are required to actually provide the means to the employee for emails and so on and so forth to do their day-to-day job. So let us actually take an example of the organization having a new employee who is going to join the organization. We can actually consider two profiles. When I say profiles, HR and finance maybe. So when these employees join the organization, what would happen is that they would be provided with a laptop as well as a phone to actually as a means to do their day-to-day job. So when the laptop is actually provided to the employee, the laptop needs to be imaged, and also the laptop that is used should be a standard model which is used across or widely used across the organization. So when a particular hardware model is widely used across a organization, it means that it was hardware certified. It means that that particular hardware model was assessed as per the organizational needs, on different levels. Like, okay, if the HD space on that particular laptop is enough to do the job, is the RAM sufficient to support all the applications, is the screen size sufficient, is the keyboard durable, etc., etc. On top of which, also the image that is customized within the organization, is that working well on this particular hardware model. Also the applications, are they working well on this particular model. So every organization, what it does is that it would certify the hardware models that are going to be used within the organization. That is the first step. So once we have certain certified hardware models, like for example, I don't know, ThinkPad or a MacBook Pro, the OS that is supported for this particular hardware model is installed on it, and then this particular laptop is provided to the employee. So up till here, there are two aspects from IT operations that are already covered, which is Windows image management as well as hardware certification. So at this point, what would happen is that this particular employee, based on his profile, for example, from HR, the user would be actually added to the HR profile. So the HR profile would actually have certain list of applications. So basically, different departments within an organization will have different set of applications. Not everybody in an organization would actually have all the same applications, because all the applications are not free. Some of them have licenses. So basically, you would not buy more licenses than what is required. So basically, every profile would have its own set of applications which are installed on these machines. So the employee would not actually have rights or administrative rights on his machines to actually install applications or do any kind of modifications, because the organization would prefer that all these IT infrastructure that they have. When I say IT infrastructure, it means everything related to, the infra is basically, all the laptops, servers, and all these actually fall under IT infrastructure. So yeah, so basically the organization, based on its policies and so on and so forth, it would actually have the IT operations team manage all the IT infrastructure it owns centrally. So there would be only one particular team which would manage it centrally as per the policies and norms set across the organization. So since the employee does not have administrative rights, so this would have to be managed by the IT operations team. So the IT operations team, based on the application or the profile of the user, would install the applications relevant to that particular profile. Once the applications are installed, on top of which, there are several other aspects required to ensure that this particular device is secured. So we can consider something like BitLocker encryption. In the event the employee loses the device, or somebody steals it from him, sensitive data from the organization should not be accessible to users outside the organization. So using something like a BitLocker encryption would ensure that this data is not accessible even if the device is stolen and is with an unauthorized party. Apart from this, we also, I think what is important is endpoint security. When I say endpoint security, it means antivirus that is installed on a machine in order for it to be protected against any malicious attacks or malware. So basically this particular tool, what it would do is it would block any download of files which are suspicious, or block any websites that are trying to download some content onto your machine. So this so we have covered BitLocker encryption as well as endpoint security. So on top of that, when we are installing applications, there is a aspect which is called application packaging. So the purpose of application packaging is all the applications that are used within the organizational ecosystem or the IT ecosystem are customized to the organizational needs. So for example, if one particular product, for example Microsoft Office, might have several components like Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and so on and so forth, but the organization might only need Word or Excel. They would not need PowerPoint. So they can choose to exclude some particular components, and further level of customizations can be done, like what options can the employee see on the drop down menus of these applications, some kind of customization. And if some applications require some kind of a login, so they can actually tag this with the device login. So when you log into the machine, the same login can be used when you launch the product as well, or the application. So this is something that can be used for application packaging. So what application packaging does is it makes the application compatible with the hardware OS that is used across the organization. So basically we would not have, or it would be very easy to maintain and support that application across the organization. So going further, we have several other aspects as well, such as backup and recovery. For example, if the user requires some kind of files that he on a particular drive, for example C drive, to be backed up on a daily basis, in the event he loses his device or somebody steals it from him, whenever he is provided, he would not lose his work. When he is provided with a new device, automatically this data that is backed up can be restored to his new device, and he can continue working without any loss of productivity or loss of data. So apart from this, we also have certain aspects like virtual desktops, virtual applications, which makes it easier for the organization to actually rely on slightly lesser hardware specifications to actually run more resource extensive applications. Like for example, when I say resource extensive, I mean to say that machines need to have 8 GB RAM or very high actually CPU to actually run certain applications. So this can be avoided by actually using virtual desktops and virtual applications. So basically on some basic hardware you're able to run these applications. Apart from this, let me recollect if there are any other aspects that need to be covered. I think this pretty much covers most of the aspects from IT operations. So let us talk about how you would actually prepare yourself for such a job or a role in IT operations. I think the cornerstone for IT operations is operating system administration. So the operating system can be Windows 7, Windows 10, Mac, Topaz, several. So basically, you need to have very sound knowledge on the operating system administration. Windows 10 is a very widely used operating system. So if you would go to the Microsoft website and look for products such as Windows 10, you would actually find the support documentation, which would actually help you, or you would also find certifications for this administration. So you would find the path how to actually get this certification, as well as some supporting documentation, videos, etc., to actually help you to gain the basic knowledge required for the OS administration. So this is the cornerstone. So out on top of this, you would also need certain experience or with some tools that make the IT operations easier. Like for example, I've already mentioned several tools, but let me reiterate them to be helpful. So for application packaging, we have a tool called Vice Packaging Studio from Symantec. So like I said again, so if you're interested in learning this particular tool set, you can go to the company website and go to the product section and go to the support, where you would actually find the documentation videos. So some basic knowledge, you can definitely gain some basic knowledge. Also, there are also forums. So basically, if you are a fresher in some organization and you require some kind of support, you can always go to the forum and post your problems. So and somebody is able to help you from the organization itself, which is providing the product. So apart from this, for endpoint security, we have Symantec Endpoint Protection. For backup and recovery, we have Dhruva. For end user device management in general, we have SCCM from Microsoft. We have client management suite from Symantec. So these tools can be actually used to manage, deploy security updates, OS applications, and also used for capturing some data from the end user devices as well. For virtual desktops, I think we have some products from Citrix, Zen Desktop, Zen Application. Also from VMware, we have virtual desktops. Virtual applications we have from Microsoft. The sequencer to sequence the applications, and then we have the AppV. When I say AppV, it is application virtualization, which is the product that is used for virtual applications. I think this actually covers most of the tool set. So basically, on top of the OS administration, if you have some basic knowledge on the tool set, it would actually really give you a very good advantage. So I would encourage you all to actually, based on your interests, to look up some of these tools and go through some documentation to actually give you a basic idea as to how this would actually make your life easier, how these tools can be used to simply manage the IT needs of an organization from at an organizational level. So apart from these tool sets, I think what is also important is Windows PowerShell. So you have already the Windows, not just Windows, it can be anything. So basically OS administration skill set, and then you have the tool skill set. But every organization is different, and they have different needs. So basically there might be some tool sets which are missing in the market to actually address these organizational needs. This is where the Windows PowerShell would come. So this is a toolkit, scripting toolkit that is provided by Microsoft, which you can actually use to automate your daily jobs uh, on a very macro level. So basically you can write scripts to do or run several jobs remotely, remotely on across the organization, across different countries, across on the network. Okay. And coming to the last aspect of IT operations, which is also very very important, is SQL. So when we talk about IT operations, I think numbers are very very important, because we need to know how many devices are used across the organization, what is their hardware specification, are they 4 GB RAM, how much free space they have, so on and so forth, how many applications are used, how many how many applications are actually installed, how many licenses you have, how many applications you have installed. In the event you have some kind of a security vulnerability, how many the critical patch that would fix these machines, on how many machines is it installed already, and how many machines is it pending. So all this data can be easily managed via SQL. So what you would do is that you would create a data set, which means, okay, I would say that I am interested to know what which application is installed on this particular machine. So basically this is a question that you would send to the machine, and the machine would send you back some data. So all this data you would actually store it in a database, and from this database, so basically SQL is a query language that you can use to actually query this database and get the result. So basically I can, so if there are 100,000 machines in the database, I would like to know how many machines are Windows 10. So I would write a query and I would be able to instantly get results that, okay, 41,000 machines are Windows 7, 59,000 machines are Windows 10. So basically this this data is very crucial in meeting your IT roadmap. For example, that you're currently using Windows 7 and you want to upgrade to Windows 10. So you would want to know how many machines are currently using Windows 7 in order for you to plan your upgrade, in order to plan how many licenses you have to buy for this upgrade. So this data is very helpful for the management to take decisions, maybe financial, maybe something related to the the IT roadmap that the organization has. So yeah, I think this pretty much covers all the skill sets that are required to actually have a fruitful career in IT operations. I hope the information that I have provided is useful to you, and I would request you to like Kaushik's videos. It would actually encourage us to develop more such content to to help you bridge the gap between the budding engineer and the actual IT professional that we have across the organizations. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.